right, 93, 93, 93. Do what thou wilt should be the whole of the law. We in here for early morning live stream. It's about 5:30 West Coast time, Pacific Coast time. Been up since about I've been up since about 11:30 last night. Um, I don't really get too much sleep. What's up, Emoto 72, 93. Peace, God, peace, God. How's the Justice Cipher born? The Justice Cipher born, like, it got my body aching. I'm not gonna lie. I'm not gonna lie, my body is aching. Like, oh man. Muscles is tight. My muscles all tight and shit. Yeah, they really make sure, you putting in that work. They really make sure you putting in that work. And I guess it really ain't them. Like basically, as long as you got the spirit of assertion and you're gonna put the work in you're supposed to put in. So, like, my body didn't start aching till like I took a nap. See, I only be home for like 6 hours. I only be home for like 6 hours. It's like I'll get home like at 9, but then I'm up at. If I get up when I'm supposed to, I get up like at 2:45. Did they say something about the earrings? Nah. No, they cool with it. They cool with it. Yeah, you can pretty much wear whatever you want. So yeah, they not. But you gotta have your hair can't go past your neck and all that. Or you can't have nothing with strings. In case it get caught in the machine or something. So since of course I don't have no hair on my head as you see, so I ain't worried about that. But there's no uniform. I really don't even have to wear the vest if I don't want to. Even though I got the vest, but I don't even have to wear the vest if I didn't want to. I just wear it just as a talisman. I'm just wearing that as a talisman, to activate the magic. But even that's not necessary. And again, I don't have to clock in till like 45 minutes. That's what I'm saying. It's like my day start at 2:45 in the morning, and I'm here just so I can go live. Because you see, I don't be having time. What's up, Tangela? I don't be having time to go live no more. Like when I'm at home, because I got so little time. Meaning, I maybe get 3 hours of sleep, and that's only because I just fall out. It ain't even because I'm only home 6 hours, so 3 of those hours I try to get a nap in. Then I try to stay up to date with what's going on. I try to eat a little something, but I'm right back out the door. So yeah, if I get home about 9, I'm right back at the door. By like 3:15. 3 in the morning, I'm out the door. So, and I do this again because, good to see you too, Tangela. I do this because I want to keep the lives going. I don't want to just stop showing up because I'm like, oh, I don't have time. I'm like, well, I just got to wake up an hour earlier. So that's why I wake up at 2:45 instead of waking up at 3:45. I wake up at 2:45 so that I can get here an hour early, and then we can actually go live. So as long as the schedule is good and everything, then we'll be able to do this on a daily basis. So that's the intention. So I'm not saying that that's going to happen 100% of the time, but that's the intention. So that's why basically I'm sacrificing the whole hour of sleep to even show up at this point, right? Because yeah, I could have just been in the bed right now. Well, not actually right now, but I could have been in the bed. But I'm like, nah. You know, just because I got the Justice Cipher born don't mean I just get the dip. You know, I still got responsibilities outside of, you know, just bills and all that. You know, that's regular stuff. You know, this is more extracurricular, right? So I'm not going to abandon my post because I got the Justice Ciphers born. So that's, again, no, I'm not going to play those games. So that's why I do what I do. So, again, I may get 3 hours of sleep, or sometimes I don't sleep at all. Sometimes I just stay up, you know, over 24 hours. So, but my body is beginning to adapt. You know, my body is sore now, but, you know, it'll adapt. Give it a little time, it'll adapt, you know. So, you know, it is what it is. You know what I mean? We do this, you know, it's light work. It's light work. Again, we only here to make bigger moves anyway, you know what I mean? We only here to make bigger moves. So, you know, y'all be seeing me a lot more places, doing a lot more things, you know. We just stacking up. We just stacking up, you know. So we ain't really got to deal with too much chaos anymore, you know. We're going to get everything in order. We're going to get some law and order going around. So that's, again, this is my first step towards doing that. I'm like, let me actually show my face every day instead of every now and then, or when I get time. I'm not going to have no time. It's either sleep for an hour or go live stream. So I'm just choosing to show up. All right, yeah, because like time is like not a factor. Like my whole sense of time is different at this point. My whole sense of time is different. Again, on the days I don't go to sleep, it'd be crazy, right? Because I still have the energy. Or like just like last night, I took a nap, and without even trying to take a nap, I just woke up at 11:30. So I guess I got home at like 9, fell out, woke up at like 11:30, and been up ever since. You know. So, and you see, the energy is there. You know, I'm not falling asleep. I'll be able to make it through the day. You know, I just got to get my stretches on. You know, I gotta be real graceful with those stretches. You know, got to be more fluid and flexible. So other than that, you know, we good. So again, you know, it's light work. It's light work, and yeah, it ain't gonna take too long, really. It ain't gonna take too long. Yeah, give me about, I say about 90 days. Give me about 90 days. So in about 90 days, it'll be a whole different energy, whole different vibe, you know, a whole different message. And that's why I'm making these sacrifices, because, you know, I'm looking towards the future. I'm like, it ain't gonna even take that long, right? The days is gonna pass anyway, you know, might as well plot and plan all the way to the end. You know, for those who are into the 48 laws of power, you already know where I'm going with that. You gotta plan all the way to the end. You know, we can't do it halfway or 25%, 75%. You gotta do 100%. You gotta see it all in your mental plane. You know, before you even lift a finger, you gotta see it all in the mental plane. So that's why I say even before I started doing any of this, right? Before I even did any of this, like, you know, I had to fast during Ramadan. I had to change my diet. I had to sober up. So that's why I say, like, the hard work is already done. Like, this is the easy part of it, right? The hard work was getting off the drugs. The hard work was changing the diet and, you know, being more, you know, fruits and veggies and juicing and, you know, just being more natural. And then, you know, fasting for sometimes 24 hours at a time. You know, then making the adjustments as I go. So that was the hard work. The hard work was getting to this point. Now it's just we just breezing at this point. Yeah, so that's why, yeah, you know, 3 hours of sleep, I'm cool. Like, the hard work has already been put in. So it's just more about the endurance. And you already know I got the endurance. Y'all didn't see me be live 3, 5, 7, 9 hours, right? So you already know I got the endurance ain't about nothing. So it's pretty much as long as I work, you know I done did live streams, you know, that same amount of time. What's up, Mary? 93, 93, 93. All right. So I appreciate y'all tuning in, you know. Like I said, I'm going to do my best to, you know, show up on a daily basis. I mean, I'm not saying that it's going to happen 100% of the time. But I'll do my best to, you know, keep these early mornings going on. While you're there, what kind of mental state you keep yourself in? I got the artillery. I got the artillery. You know what I mean? I got the artillery. So the mental state is just, you know, one thought. The mental state is just one thought. You know, so just not getting distracted by what's going on, by the environment, by, people trying to make small talk and all that stuff. I'm doing more observing than anything. I'm probably talking more now than I'll probably talk the entire day. So I'll probably do more talking in these 45 minutes because I'll only be here about 45 minutes. I'll probably do more talking now than the whole day. So just one thought, just keeping one crystallized thought. And that thought changes daily, so it's not always the same thought. It just depends on what experiment, I'm conducting. So depending on what experiment, what magical alphabet I'm working with, or what mantra I'm working with, I just keep one thought, you know. So this is just like an ultimate test, because obviously it's all type of stuff going on, it's physically demanding, so it's just, to me, it's the perfect challenge. And that's why I'm here. I'm here for the challenge. It's a perfect challenge. Like, all right, it's easy when you at home, in your closet or on your couch in your bedroom where, you away from the world. But when you can make this shit happen, while you amongst people, it's a whole different energy. It's a whole different energy, right? When you're around, like I'm around like a lot of women. I'm like that shit is crazy. Like I'm around like a lot of women, so now like I gotta step my game up. I'm like, I can't be around these women, and I'm not absolutely fresh and clean and fly and all that. It's different when you just at the goddamn house all day, or it's a whole. I'm like, all right, yeah, I gotta step it up to a new level. So that's what I mean. Just a challenge, to get the ball rolling, right? So, we just slowly coming out of the underworld, because y'all know we've been in the underworld for quite some time. We and spoke about, demons and jinn and all these underworld activities. So we slowly making our way from hell to the heavenly plane. So I'll be able to speak from the heavens instead of speaking from the hells, right? We've been speaking from the hells for quite some time now. So now it's time to speak to the heavens, just to show that the balance is possible, right? Because that's the main thing is, whatever you're inclined to naturally, you have to counterbalance it with what you're not inclined to. Like, for example, I'm more inclined with, you can say, the archdevils. So when I work with the archangels, it actually gives me a very good balance. Because now I'm working with energies that I'm not as familiar with, or I may not ever think about no archangels. But it's a great counterbalance. The more I've been working with the archangels, the more I've been working with the angels, I'm like, okay, I can see why this is a good counterbalance, because I'm already in tune with the dark side, right? That's, I do that naturally. So that's not really a challenge. The challenge is to tap into the energies that don't feel natural, the energies that I kind of really gotta activate on my own. It's not just second nature. I gotta put in that work and make it a habit, right? So that's what's really going on. So it's been real cool, it's been a good counterbalance. Because like I said, I've been speaking from the hells. Now it's time to speak from the heavens, just to show that it's possible, So that way it ain't about choosing sides. It ain't about which is better, which is worse. It's just about, how far are you willing to challenge yourself? Are you willing to be uncomfortable? Because as y'all know, I wasn't tripping about no job. Y'all done been seeing me for what? Over a decade at this point. I done had this channel over a decade at this point, right? Well, actually, it'd be a decade in October. 'Cause I started this channel in October of 2013. So October of 2023, it'll be a decade. So it's been almost a decade, and y'all see I ain't really been, sweating about working for nobody else and doing anything that I'm doing now. That was never really the intention, right? I was just hell-bound and just fixated on, going deeper into the underworld, mastering my own craft. So now, I'm like, okay, let me try something new. I'm like, we don't really need to go no deeper into the underworld, right? We done went to the depths. We didn't hit rock bottom, right? I didn't show y'all everything there is to see, all right? We didn't got a real intimate, personal look at what occurs, all right? From a street level, from an underworld level, we didn't see all that. So, but now I gotta show y'all the other side, and that's why I feel it's my duty to show you the other side. Because of course, I could have just kept doing the same thing. But I'm like, we're not really doing y'all any justice when I do that. Just because I may be comfortable in that particular situation, or I may be comfortable in those environments. But there's many different people coming from many different backgrounds, many different mentalities. Excuse me. So for me to be selfish, it wouldn't be doing any justice. So I'm like, let me move out of my own selfishness. Let me move out of my own comfort zone. And let me challenge myself. And again, that's why, again, my body is aching right now. Right? And I ain't even started yet. Body is already aching. I woke up like this. It's like my body was cool until I woke up. Right? I was flowing. I was smooth all the way till I took that nap. Then once I woke up, now legs is all tight. I'm like, all right, yeah, here it go. It starts now. What you gonna do when you gotta come to work sore? I didn't even eat anything. I ain't had any breakfast. I ain't ate nothing. Stomach is empty. Right, stomach is empty. So that's what I mean by, all right, I gotta make sure the vibration is high. I gotta make sure that I'm radiant. So just always putting in that work. And because there's always more chambers to open instead of us, becoming comfortable with the chambers that we're already familiar with. There's always new chambers to be opened. There's always new paths to be taken, right? Especially now that I'm, working with the archangels and I'm working with, the more, I'm not even gonna say lighter energies. It's just the different classes of angels, because there's many, just like there's many different classes of demons, there's many different classes of angels. So, working with the various classes of the angels, I'm like, okay, I can see the purpose that they serve now. I'm like, okay, I see why angels exist, and I see the purpose that they serve, and I have a true sense of what they really are beyond what other people talk about, or going beyond a religious sense. Like, I see them for exactly how they are. So basically, I had to get through those obstacles within my own mentality. I had to get through those obstacles because I had a certain perspective of what an angel is, what an angel does, and yada yada yada. Angels are messengers, yada yada yada, basic stuff, right? Until I actually began to work with them, I'm like, okay, they're actually nothing like what I thought. But you don't learn those things until you gain that personal experience. So my personal experience, showed me differently. My personal experience showed me differently. And I'm like, okay, I see why this is a perfect counterbalance. When I'm out in public or around people, I feel like people are drawn to me by keep staring at me or acting weird. How can I be more invisible around people and not draw this kind of attention? You have to find the source of the attention. Right? It's easy for me to give you a technique, but that doesn't really answer your question as to why it happens in the first place. So I would inquire you to get to the source of why that happens instead of really looking for a solution. Because if you are able to determine the root cause of why that happens, then the solution becomes obvious. Basically, once you know the question, once you fully comprehend the question, it's already halfway solved. You didn't already got to the halfway point or the midpoint just by fully understanding the source, why it happens, right? So that's my answer. You just really gotta figure out why it happens instead of, okay, I don't like this happening, I need to change it. Well, if you never understand why it happened in the first place, what's preventing it from happening again? If you never pinpointed the source. All right, so pinpoint the source. You know, pinpoint the source, because there is a source, but for whatever reason you're just ignoring it. You're just looking at the effects, right? You're concerned with the effects. You're not really, okay, well, what's causing the effects? So you got to go into the world of cause instead of being interested in the world of effects. Maybe you should just ask the people, why are you staring at me? Maybe you should just ask, you know? Instead of, because then it just becomes two people being weird. How can you feel weird because you're getting stared at? Then it's weird because they're not saying anything back, so it becomes an awkward situation. But you can always break that awkwardness by starting a conversation. How about you start a conversation with these people that's giving you weird vibes or weird energies, and you determine the perspective they're coming from. You don't even have to ask them directly. You don't got to be rude about it. Just about having a conversation. You don't really got to talk to people that much to understand their mentality, to understand, you know, what their strengths are, what their weaknesses are. It ain't even got to be a super deep conversation. You ain't even got to know the person's name. If you are aware enough, you can really determine the full scope of a person in a relatively short amount of time if you are observant enough. And clearly you are, because you're catching people staring at you. So clearly you have enough observation. It's just about, okay, well, what is the point here? It's not even about them, it's about you. That's the point I'm making. It's not even about them, it's about you. Because if they're staring at you, it could be for a positive reason or a negative reason. So that's why you need to pinpoint the source. It can be negative or positive. So if it's for a negative reason, for example, you need to get to the bottom of that. If it's for a positive reason, you need to amplify that. You know, we all have a certain level of star power. Because honestly, that's where it actually originates. You really just got to study your own chart. Like, everything is already within the natal. Everything is already mathematically calculated for you. You just have to comprehend what you're looking at. So it's not going to be obvious, right? It's not just going to be, okay, well, this is that. However, that's the whole point of know thyself. Never said that it's going to be easy. Never said it's going to be straightforward. Never said it's going to be direct, because it is none of that. It's like going through a labyrinth. When you're beginning to learn yourself and to challenge yourself and to know your multiple dimensions, it's like walking through a labyrinth. Sometimes you end up at dead ends. Sometimes you end up at dead ends and you got to retrace your steps and take another route. And that's basically what life is all about. Life is like a big labyrinth. It's a big labyrinth. So you have to be willing to make a mistake. You have to be willing to go through trial and error. It's not going to just be given to you. The answer is never obvious, and it's just given to you because you want it. Otherwise, it would be no purpose of the occult. There would be no purpose of it if it were just obvious. The whole purpose of this is it's not obvious. So it's going to take some work to begin to decode and decipher what's not obvious. It's going to take some time. That's why I always say commit the occult to heart. That's all you got to do. I know it's not easy to do. I'm not saying it's easy, but it's necessary. You really want to know who you are, you gotta put it in your heart. It's just too much up here. You're thinking too much. It's too much mentalism. You gotta bring it to the heart center. You gotta bring it into your memory to the point where you don't have to think about it. See, too many people are thinking. It's too much thinking. You're trying to think. You gotta put it in your heart. If it ain't in your heart, then it's not gonna activate. This is not a thinking game. This is about intuition. This is about your psychic ability. This is about your sixth sense. So You trying to think your way out of it is just not going to happen. We were taught that. We were taught to be thinking people. But our ancestors were not thinking people. They knew. They didn't think, they knew. And they knew because they had access to their Akashic records, otherwise known as your memory. So they knew. So you had to get to a state of knowing. Because when you are in the state of knowing, you ain't got to do too much thinking. Because thinking, honestly, will just take you in circles, 360 degrees. Which is not a bad thing because you want to know every degree of your cipher. But at the same time, once you done took that trip enough times, it begins to get boring. It begins to become repetitive and redundant. You begin to, you're like, okay, clearly I'm missing something, but I don't know what I'm missing, You just start to, again, I guess that's most people, right? Most people just going in loops. Most people are just on repeat. They're not moving in a straight line. They're not linear. Because in order to be linear, you have to utilize your imagination. Meaning you can't try to repeat what somebody else did. You must carve your own path, which is not easy to do. Because we're always being told, or we're always following behind somebody else's perspective. When you have to forge your own, the only way to forge your own is to have a personal experience. So even with the occult, it has to be personal. That's what I mean by putting it in your heart. You must personalize it. It can't just be something written down on a piece of paper in a notebook. It has to be personalized. Or it can't be something you read from somebody else. Again, they can offer you another perspective, but it must be rooted in your own personal experience. That's how it becomes real to you. It's not real because you read a book or because you read an article, because you watched a video. That doesn't make it real. What makes it real is you know exactly what happened when you did it. That's what makes it real. What happened when you tried it? What happened when you did it? That's what determines the reality of a thing. It must come from the heart center. Yeah, operate from the heart center. The brain is not going to save you. The brain is not going to save you, but your heart will. What's up, Sarah Star? I had a dream I was watching your live stream, and at the end, you said, "I bear peace," and then made a gunshot sounds and shooting with your hand. That's just funny. That do sound like something I would do. That do sound like some shit I would do. Yeah, but I be active in the dream world. I'm not gonna lie, I be hella active. That's why I be telling y'all my dreams. I be super active in the dream world, I be super active in the dream world. You can really, again, you actually get more from me if you actually work with me personally. But again, everybody don't offer themselves like that. Everybody is not that open because they're not, comfortable enough with themselves. But there's no way you're gonna, if you actually are able to reach me in the dream world, ain't no way that I'm not gonna give you game. I'm like, oh, I'm glad that you're even here. Here you go. Take that. Take the gem. Do what you will with it. Right? Do what thou wilt. Right? So, yeah, I just make these live streams just for people to get familiar with my energy. But this is not where it should end if you're that type of person. But again, everybody's not a dreamer, right? Everybody doesn't record their dreams. Everybody's not a dreamer, right? So that's just for the people that are more psychic. So you really gotta follow your element. You really gotta follow your element. So if you're a dreamer, then dream. That's what you're here to do. You're here to dream. It's a good feeling seeing you in dreams, as it should be. As it should be. Because again, that's what I'm here for. That's what I'm here for. That's why I extend myself the way I do. Without all the BS, without all the extra stuff. Just direct and straightforward. I'm just a source, right? I'm not saying I'm the source, but I'm just a source. Just a little reminder. Just a little reminder. Stay on your path. Stay on your orbit. Speak to your holy guardian angel. Get the game. Committed to memory. So I'm just really a reminder, right? Just really a reminder. But when you have that personal experience, then that's when you take it to the next level. That's when you take it to the next level. Because there's one thing, watching me on the screen. It's another thing when you take it off the screen. Because when you take it off the screen, now the interaction is like, okay, it may be a question I want to ask. Now I can ask it. It may be a certain type of experience that I want to experience. Now it can go through the dreams, because everything is safe, We ain't got to deal with people's karma. You ain't got to deal with people's egos and auras and all that extra shit, right? That's what makes dreams so powerful, because it doesn't come with all that karma. Some people are just, I say some people, a lot of people, especially content creators, a lot of content creators, you really wouldn't even want to deal with them in real life, in real time, because they're not what they pretend to be at all. Again, that's why they only show you certain things and at certain times and so on and so forth, right? That's why I made it a thing to show y'all my ups and my downs, right? My faults. I made sure to show y'all my authentic self. I showed y'all everything. Just as a reminder. Like, this is the true self. The true self is not always going to be in a positive light. The true self is not always going to be on the top of the game. The true self has to go through many levels and layers of understanding. And it takes time. It's a labyrinth. So basically, y'all, I've been documenting my ability to go through the labyrinth, right? And you see, it's not always positive. Sometimes you got to go through the negativity. Sometimes you got to go through, setbacks. And I didn't have plenty of those, right? But once you, get a feel of, the labyrinth, the game of life, whatever you want to call it, then you begin to say, like, oh, okay, I gotta follow my heart. I can't win this game with my thinking. This is not a game to be won with thinking. This is a game to be won by intuition, by knowing. So I'm just a reminder to help you get into that knowingness, get into that intuition, get into the heart center, get into the chakra, right? So just a reminder, But that's why I had to show you all the depths, right? That's why I had to show you the dark side. That's why I do the things I do as the ultimate reminder. Meaning, do not be afraid to explore the depths of your own subconscious and unconscious mind. Do not be afraid to explore your depths, because you're not going to like everything you find out. You're not going to like everything. There are certain aspects of yourself that will be very distasteful to you, to the point where you will have to remove your ego out of the equation to truly accept yourself. So that's why it ain't even about accepting other people. It's about accepting yourself, which is harder to do. It's harder to accept your own darkness than other people's darkness, because we tend to like other people's darkness, right? That's why we listen to the type of music we listen to. That's why we watch the type of movies we like to watch. Everybody want to watch a movie with violence, right? Everybody want to hear the most aggressive music, But when it comes to self, we don't really want to see ourselves in that light, so it's easy to push that on other people. That's why, actors get paid so much. Actresses get paid so much, because they're basically playing a position that we ultimately must see within ourselves, right? So they are playing that position. But when you see yourself in that light, when you see yourself in your true form, going into the reptilian brain and so on and so on and so forth. Again, you're not going to like everything you find. Again, that's why people try to put their best foot forward. People only want to, again, show you the positivity. That's why I made sure to show you the negativity. That's why I made sure to show you, okay, yeah, we want to go straight demonic with it. That's why I made that thing, like, yeah, we're going to go to the depths. So that when you take your own journey, you already know what to expect. And you know, you may dig yourself a hole that you have to crawl out of. Right? So what would you say traveling the path of the clip-off entails? Exploring your own darkness subconsciously. It's the darkness of the universe. The clip-off is the first creation. You know, before everything that we know. It represents the first creation, which is considered a mistake. You know, so when you deal with religious people, you know, they're not going to ever mention that. They're going to act like it doesn't exist. They're going to call the clip off the shells, the husk. They're going to call it again that like that shouldn't have happened. Because, you know, when you have the belief that God is perfect, that means God doesn't make mistakes. So the whole idea of the clip off is unacceptable because you have to admit, well, God actually made a mistake here. But you see that it completely destroys a religious perspective. So that's what you're exploring. You're exploring the first mistake and all that came with that. All the demons, all the ghouls, all the goblins, and everything that this universe entails that's just not so positive. Right? That's what you're exploring. You're exploring the first mistake. And can you accept it? Can you accept that the world is supposed to be dark? Can you accept that there's no such thing as world peace, that will never be a thing? Can you accept that dark people are supposed to be dark? The world is supposed to be corrupt. Can you accept it? Can you accept that people are in this world who are in this world on purpose to misguide you? Can you accept it? Can you accept it? That's what it means to explore the clip off. Can you accept that all these things are supposed to happen? This is not something that happened because we went wrong somewhere. These things are a part of creation itself. That's what you must accept. Do you accept the true creation? Or are you just going with the whole Adam and Eve story? You know, the first man, the first woman. So how much do you truly accept about the world? Most people don't truly accept the world. That's why they put so much energy into trying to change it or trying to point out what's wrong. All that, when that's just completely unnecessary. The world is perfect as it is, even with the darkness. Can you accept the perfection that includes darkness? That's what it's about. Can you accept the perfection that includes darkness? Because most people's idea of perfect is the absence of darkness. No, perfection is the inclusion of darkness. So that's internal and external. So once you understand your own, not even subconscious, it's your unconscious. You're going deeper than the subconscious because the subconscious is personal. The unconscious is impersonal. That's what you're exploring. The clip-off represents the impersonal reality. The impersonal, not the personal, the impersonal. Do you accept the impersonal? Do you accept the part you must play in this impersonal reality? Do you accept that all the things that happen to you really ain't personal? It's really not personal. Nobody's pulling strings behind the scenes. Trying to get at you or trying to do this and trying to do that, and it work for both ways, right? So that's what it's about. Do you accept that you really are the one and only, that you are the source, and the source is more than the good? The same source that basically says that gives us blessing is the same source that gives curses. The same source that lifts you up is the same source that will put you down. It's all the same energy. But people want to separate it. God and devil, demon and angel, it's all the same. The archdevils are actually the archangels in a different form, in a different light. It's a light that many people choose not to perceive. That's what it is. Can you perceive the fullness? That's why you have Lucifer. That's why you have Satan. It's the same energy, just in a different form. All right. So your balance is key. You must accept your own madness, not even darkness, your madness, your insanity. Because remember, the clip-off comes from an Arabic perspective. Comes from an Arabic perspective. What that means is insanity. Can you go insane and regain your mind? It don't get no realer than that. Fuck darkness. Can you lose your mind? Can you become mad? That's why the Necronomicon is written by the mad poet. Can you become mad and reclaim yourself? That's what it's really about. It's one thing to be dark and you're in full control of it. It's another thing to lose yourself and then bring yourself back. That's the fool in the tarot. The fool is insane. The fool is a madman. Someone who has went mad. Someone that the average person can barely even comprehend. All these people you see out here that we say, is on drugs, the so-called crackheads, the bums, the homeless, all these people that can't even operate within society, who just appear to be mad. Can you go to that level and bring yourself back? Most people are not willing to do that because they're not sure of themselves that they would be able to bring themselves back. See, it is a gamble. That's what it means to work with the dark side. It is a gamble. You're not guaranteed to come back. There's no guarantees. The only way you're going to come back is if you complete the work. That's why it's called the great work. The only way to make it back is to complete the work. The work must be completed. You can't stop halfway. You can't stop 75%. You can't even stop at 99%. You must complete the work. It's not enough just to work with energies that you want to work with because of the benefits that you may gain. You must also work with energies you don't want to work with. That may take everything from you. Again, that's why I showed y'all that. I showed y'all I was in a state where everything had been taken away from me. And you see, I kept going. I didn't stop. That's why I showed you this. So that's why y'all know, I've already showed you all this. Everything had been taken away. I had to get it all back. My mind essentially was gone. You can say people that were close to me didn't even understand why I was doing what I was doing. It didn't make any sense to them. So to them, I was mad. To a lot of people, I still am mad. But you see now, when I'm amongst people, when I'm amongst the populace, I appear to be sane. Right? I can put on the act that I'm actually sane. Right? All right then. But am I sane? Right? That's what I'm talking about. So with that, we close it down. I think y'all get the point. All right? So hopefully I'll get back at y'all tomorrow, if all goes well. So whenever I pop back up, salute. Much love and much respect. 93. Love is the law. Love under will.